Good morning. What you doing there? We doing great, Cloud. Oh, I'm grateful this morning. Grateful to be here. Grateful to be alive. I'm taking a morning walk already. A good morning walk. It could have been better. I could have walked longer. I'll probably do another walk. Yesterday I got to walk in before 8 o'clock, and then by 10 or 10:30 I did a second walk. And of course that's good. That's a good thing. Getting them in earlier in the day before it's too extremely hot is a lot better than trying to do it anytime midday or later, unless it's later in the afternoon, like probably past 5 o'clock, maybe even around 6 or 7. A walk around that time would be sufficient, maybe. But I'm enjoying that the past couple of days I've gotten up and anyway, I just decided to start off just talking so that this isn't just like a bunch of empty space when you if someone watches this from the beginning in a replay after the fact, then it'll start right off into something and me just kind of contemplating life and talking. A lot of times you'll find me on a live stream, especially when I'm just going through the YouTube app and I'm solo, sitting here just kind of anticipating whether anybody's going to show up or not. And right now, I'm intentionally not looking at whether anybody's interested or even there because I'm going to try to attempt to do that more. And of course, I'm aware because I just now looked and glanced. There's sometimes you can't be unaware, like, I don't know. But I've done a lot of there's been a lot of introspection going on over the past few weeks. Um, I've came to the conclusion over the past few days that this last sort of dark night of the soul I've passed through, I thought was maybe more like I thought it was more like adherent to this moment and in this time frame, not realizing that this particular dark night of the soul is probably something I've been journeying through for the past several years. Um, I went through some back in my earlier life, especially during the time of mom's murder and stuff. There was some definite, really dark nights of desperation and not knowing where I went, where would I go from here, what do I do from now on. I'm talking about way before I ever went in the woods and felt the spirit tell me you're not Jason, and you're Gray Cloud, and there's a reason you're Gray Cloud, and that you're to embrace that. So right now, I think just going live for a minute was just for me to just talk. I've been thinking about things, and I haven't done a video yet this morning. I've got some thoughts. Got my arm out of the sling right now. I went walking. I had it in the sling when I walked. Kind of being able to move it in and out a little bit. But I've been processing some thoughts. I did read Jesus Always to myself this morning and Jesus Calling. The Jesus Always this morning read fairly well. So, like, in the video the other day, I said, I'm still on the fence whether sharing it directly every day is something I want to do. I think I'm just going to gauge it from this point. If I read it and it's speaking out, and I think would be interesting to share, I'm going to share it. Like I might share it briefly here in a second, just on the live stream. So, and then also, if any of you tune in, if you're tuning in, also, I'm for some reason I've been not really been nervous about going live. I've been really having the past ever since that last 3 days of just total kind of like wallowing in my own head, and of course I drank. That was like what almost was that about a week and a half? Or, like I'm trying to remember now how long it's been since the last time that I fell into that spot. That was so we're approaching, like, I think it's been almost 2 weeks that I haven't done that. I've came out of that spot, and I was talking about the dark night of the soul, and realizing that I feel, and if any of you've watched the videos the past few days, I've expressed that I feel like that maybe I've been sleepwalking for a few years. I believe I would consider probably earlier part of my life, there was a part of my life maybe that I was asking questions and doing things, but I wasn't. There was a point probably where I was sleepwalking, but still asking questions. And then at some point, I kind of awakened during that time in the woods and all that, and I became knowing of Gray Cloud. So I came to be Gray Cloud, or knowing that I am Gray Cloud. And that's all a spiritual thing. That was a spiritual endeavor, you know. But here recently, like, I've had to question myself again, like, and it's like I do question myself quite often, but I think I have not done extensive questioning of where am I in life? What am I? Am I still on course? Is there anything that needs to shift, change, whatever? And part of it is that it works out a lot easier when I'm not trying so hard to analyze it to the point where, because what I'm finding over the past few days is things are just kind of flowing to me like they used to, and I'm enjoying that. And it's because I'm like, I am doing my own thinking, also trying to put some thought into some of the things that I want to do or say, especially with what I'm myself online. And so, like, here lately, I've just been kind of approaching it like, first I went through those few days where I was like in that dark spot. I came up out of that. As I've slowly come out of that, I've started getting back to doing videos pretty well, but not having a set, like I'm not particularly getting up every morning now and reading to you guys from Jesus Calling or Jesus Always, which I haven't even really got Jesus Always as a thing that anybody would be expecting. And at first I felt like it was me trying to do this, but it's also there's a steering of, like, the Spirit is steering me to be more just kind of in a free flowing way, kind of like I was in the beginning, and also to just rediscover the beauty of not always like I'm sticking to a routine of trying to do something every day, but it doesn't have to be the exact same pretty much thing. Like, I'm getting up and it's helping me to take a walk before a video, because then I'm processing some thoughts. And then, like, yesterday's video was just me walking and talking for a brief moment, and I did mention a couple of things that could be considered conspiracy theory stuff, but you know, I'm just doing some deep diving. There's even been an idea presented to me. I feel like the Spirit is kind of laying on me, and I don't know why, or it's weird that I would have this thought. So it's like, I don't know if it's just a thought that has been shown to me, but kind of a possibility of another name shift. Not that I'm not Gray Cloud, but something was like, I was walking 2 days ago, and I felt it just kind of was saying, it might have been 3 days ago, I felt this message of we might drop the the whole stage of the eternal moment might be something that gets dropped, and that would be because the only reason that would be is because if the spirit tells me that that is the necessary way to move. Like there's something saying, like at first it was almost like you're still gray cloud, but you might just be starting to go by cloud, simply cloud. And there's no sage of the eternal moment, no gift giving scribe, no gray, no white, no red, no anything before or after, just cloud. And then, so of course, there was the whole conundrum. Am I thinking this stuff? Is this my mind? Is this something deceiving me? Because I've stated time and time again that the name Gray Cloud comes from the source. It comes from Big Kahuna, the divine. It's not just some random thing that Jason, the man named Jason, just picked and said, okay. Now, I was thinking and trying to figure out. At the time, I was like, well, what's my magical name? You know, this was years back. But I was really just meaning, like, what's my true name? Like, asking, like, a deep question, like, am I really who I think I am? And I told this story a little bit. But I remember, like, being anyway, I'm kind of just talking. I'm kind of trying to just let some things out. And if anybody's watching and interested, I appreciate it. You know, it's cool. I don't have my arm in my sling right now. I done mentioned that I walked. When I walk, I've been having it in the sling, so I'm not moving it around a lot. I really didn't know how long I'd come on here and be on here, but I've kind of said a lot already. And it's just life stuff. So like that's why I didn't really want to do it through Restream or necessarily maybe even reach out to anybody yet and see, because I wasn't even sure I wanted to stream. And then all of a sudden, like, it kind of just hit that, because I made some phone calls thinking that I was going to get some things done or find some information out. I really need an ID. Lived in Alabama for this entire time without an ID, and that hampers getting certain things done. Although I don't think you necessarily should have to have all that, and but it just, in order for me to get certain things in the moment. So anyway, I called, and excuse me if I bounced around. I went from some deep spiritual stuff there for a minute and talking about Gray Cloud and just like reconfiguring. It's more about, I think, like I said, if you weren't watching a minute ago and you haven't seen a few of the videos the past few days, yes, I think I've been sleeping more. I feel like I've been half asleep the past few years. Like, part of the time I was pretty clear and the clarity was there, but there's been some time where I think I believe that I've convinced myself of things at times where I've become complacent and hadn't asked the right questions of myself. And so that's what you've been seeing the past few weeks, is me coming out of somewhere and coming back into something that I think, it's almost like I feel like that what I'm feeling right now is something that was going on by about the entire time I've been in Alabama. I haven't been sleepwalking, but there's just been a large portion, I think, and especially with me on the channel here lately, I think the past year I've been operating in a way where sometimes I was really going at it, but sometimes it was just kind of, like I said, I got used to just doing it a certain way. It was easy, and so, you know what I mean? Like, if I got up and did the Jesus calling thing every day, I was satisfied. Like, right now, it's like, there's a lot coming to me, and I'm trying to process it and figure out how do I share this in the right way. And I think used to, things would come to me, and I would share it so quickly that it just came out however. But sometimes it just comes out, and it comes out the way it's supposed to because the Spirit's flowing. Like, sometimes it's like right now, like, I'm not thinking a lot about whatever I'm saying or doing. It's just coming. And that's why I kind of went live. It's because I just felt like there was something that might be able to come out in a live situation rather than me just trying to make a video this morning. There's a lot that, and this is also might help me process my thoughts to the point where when I end this stream and decide to make a video, I might have some even more formative thoughts or be able to articulate some of these thoughts a lot easier. I think too, when I came on here just now for this stream, I'm kind of testing the water to see if I might want to stream here in a little while. Like, I don't want to start this and be doing anything right now for 3 hours, but I'm starting it. But then if it did happen, it happens. But my intention was just to do what I'm doing right now, and like when I reach a certain point, whether anybody's interacted or not, you know what I mean? Like once I reach a certain point where I feel like some things have been said, and then whoever does tune in after the fact, there might be some things that somebody might catch or hear, and it might help them, or they'll just be able to even just see where I'm at. Like if they've been wondering, like if someone was curious, like, and hadn't watched a video lately, and they catch this live stream and watch it, they're like, okay, so this is what's going on with Gray Cloud. Huh, I see a tow truck out there. Not in the trailer park, but out on the main road like right now. Probably, I think he's waiting on something. Because right where he's asked about it at the top of the hill, yeah, I hear a motor now. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's just, it really don't matter. It's not here. And, like, I don't remember. Right. It's just now 9 o'clock, and so my thought was, I'll go live. He must have been doing something, waiting on somebody to come up behind him and then take off. I don't know. But I was like, man, I'll come on here. I can speak out loud some things. Maybe somebody will watch. And then, like I said, I'm trying to approach this I'm going to try to see if I can't do more, have this mind frame here when I'm doing a live stream more, when I do live streams, which is just go with it. And whether I'm on by myself or whether, whether I'm by myself or like, well, good going there. Anyway, who gives a shit? Kind of adds an ambience to it. But I think the next time I don't know. Really don't matter. So I'm kind of, like I said, I made a phone call to the DMV. I'd read online somewhere, I need an ID. And like I said, if I can get an ID, there are certain things that, I've briefly talked about it over the years, and some people know my situation. I really don't want to talk about it right now, but it's not a bad situation. It's just a situation that could be fixed and then make things a little easier on myself. But I got to stop thinking that, oh yeah, I'd go through this whole trouble and spend the money to get it done. And then I was like, well, then everything hits the fan and nobody's got electricity, water, or anything. And we're all like starving or trying to fight for crumbs or whatever. But, like to look at life that way and just not do something because you think, well, as soon as I do it, everything will fall to shit. That's not the way life works. Things will fall. When things are to fall apart as a society, it will happen, regardless whether I have breath that day or not. When things shift to make improvements among itself, like as a unit, meaning like societal also, those things will happen also in due time. there's some things I think just naturally just come about, regardless of. Some things just happen, and it's not always that it was just a particular special time. It just kind of was meant to be. It was just that was the way it's going to be, you know. But oh, good morning. Hey, what's up, Gideon? I just noticed you said good morning. Um, if you're just tuning in, I don't know. I I'm trying to teach my like I haven't streamed in what I don't think I haven't streamed on my channel in almost 2 weeks. Um, if I remember correctly, I want to say the last time we streamed, like I might have, anyway, it doesn't matter. I think the last stream I remember doing was it was a Friday, I believe, and it was Self Destruct was on, and Lady Ghosty or Ghost, and then I went through my own little kind of listening at work. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm glad you're there. So you've heard some of what I was talking about. I'm just kind of like sorting through some things out loud, but like into the camera on a stream. Because as I said earlier, I haven't made a video this morning, and I've had a lot of thoughts. Done went for a walk. I may even, when I end this stream, I might even take another morning walk because I just realized, it's still like I said yesterday. I took one between 7 and 8, and then by 10 or 10:30, I'd walked again yesterday. Now I'm trying to move up and get more and more of that in. The only thing that makes it mundane to me is that I'm walking pretty much the same pattern. Sometimes I go a little further down the road and then back, but even right now, I can see if I walk, like it'd be pretty reasonable. But anything past like 10 o'clock or 11, it starts to, even if I'm on a journey, like there's not a lot of shade in some of the walks. Anyway, I think and be mindful of that too. I'm trying to think where I was at there for a minute, but I've been. So I was saying I read Jesus Always this morning myself, and it read pretty well. Then I've read Jesus Calling. I also did read Living a Life of Awareness meditation, and the one that I read this to myself it's called Broadening Your Horizons, which these are on the channel. I just need to go back and find them, and because I remember when I did this book, I didn't title each video Living a Life of Awareness. I titled it whatever the title of the meditation was, and so you wouldn't have known what it was until you watched the video. But broadening your horizons. While life has every right to say no to our endeavors, too many times we say no to ourselves preemptively when we think things like, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, or I'll never make it. Well, it's Jesus Always is like, so far, every time I read it, like some of it hits and some of it don't, and it's like maybe it's me just being like, because I'm in a different frame of mind right now. It just don't seem as now. Today's reading is it came across pretty well. It's just it seems I don't know. I guess it's just some of it might be me too. Today's is really, it does speak pretty good though. Like on Jesus Always today, it's do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. You are looking ahead at uncertainties, letting them unnerve you. Fear and discouragement are waiting alongside your pathway to the future, ready to accompany you if you let them. Yet I'm always with you, holding you by your right hand. Because I live beyond time, I am also on the path up ahead, shining brightly, beckoning you on, encouraging you to fix your gaze on me. Cling tightly to my hand and walk resolutely past those dark presences of fearfulness and despair. Keep looking toward my radiant presence that beams out rays of unfailing love and endless encouragement. Okay, never mind. As I'm reading it out loud, it I absorbed it pretty well today, and there's still a whole nother paragraph, dude. I don't know if that's making any sense. I just realized I read it to myself today, and it sinks in. It spoke to me, but it's almost like now as I'm reading it out loud, just to share a brief, like, show you. As I read it out loud, I can see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of like added, like, this one seems more forced. Where, like I think I already said, I think Jesus Calling was a natural tapping into and, being given some good insights, not trying to do anything other than it just kind of came. And then you have, of course, this is not bad. It's just, it's different. And as I got to the end of that, I was like, I've read it once to myself. I don't find it, it's not reading out loud well to me. It feels clunky. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying I get it as I'm reading it. It's not that I don't comprehend it. For me, as far as when I'm thinking about how things are going to sound, and if I'm doing it as a video every day, or I'm trying to share this pretty regular, I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just going to be something. I guess for some reason, I'll be honest with you, it's not me even. I'm not, like, something is just telling me to use some discernment with this one. Like, it doesn't have to be something I share all the time. Like, if it's, like, I can read the rest of it. Your confidence comes from knowing I am continually with you and I'm already in your future, preparing the way before you. Listen as I call back to you. Words of warning and wisdom, courage and hope. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The last paragraph reads pretty well. And I mean, it was fine. It's just, if something's telling me it's not necessary to share this, like I was sharing Jesus Calling, then I'm just listening right now. Like, it ain't something, I know what it is. It's like, it's a little bit of my own discernment as well, because we do have our own minds. But it's also that the past 4 or 5 days, specifically, leading up into the day, things are just flowing in a new way, a new light, and not really even a new light, but it's almost like I'm finding myself just being in awe of a lot of things and taking more notice during the day here lately for some reason. And like, I haven't been, like, you might see me hit this bowl, but I have not been smoking a lot. Like, I really have, like, not smoked hardly any during the day, other than there were like a little bit maybe in the morning, and then like most of the day I've been just like active and like not really like, so like that's been helping. Like, I hadn't intentionally just stopped doing that. It's just like, it's kind of like naturally certain things, like I'm not partaking as much as I was. I'm being more like clear-headed. Of course, I did go through a week and a half, or whenever it was, those 3 days that I handled things a little and tried to avoid the day wasn't too well, but I've been doing pretty well. And it's like these past few days, I'm just finding myself feel like I'm reawakening, and I'm discovering that maybe I was, like I said, sleepwalking some. And like, I've been, I'm trying to be more receptive to any possibility that might be laid out before me in my day. Even if that means pretty much, like it's being forged in my head to stop thinking about where can I be, what could I do, this and that. And this, like I keep saying, like be here right now, like as much as I can. And like, so when I'm not on a live stream or making videos, I've been tending to doing it's small amounts, but it's been increasing, more reading, more creative. Like I haven't been drawing or writing because of my hand. I really haven't tried doing anything in a while like that, because the last time I did a few weeks ago, I remember drawing and doing some writing that day, and it did mess with my hands, so I've been just giving that a lot of rest. Sorry to talk so much. No, I'm not sorry to talk so much. That's the reason you go live, and then like I'm by myself, and I intended this to be a solo stream for right now because it is still early. So I'm also at this moment I'm becoming conscious of kind of where and how much longer I want to maybe be here for a minute. I'm enjoying this, and I'm glad you're here listening too. It's like so you guys, I shared, I think this is what I've been really kind of the past couple of days. I dug in about 2 days ago, and now I'm about this far. It's the undiscovered self, which if I'd read this at any time in my life, I don't remember it specifically, because I would spend a lot of time in libraries, like after high school and like in my early 20s and stuff, and different times, especially during some of my big spiritual like ponderings and stuff, like before the internet and stuff. You go to the library, and I'd find the section of spiritual and religious type or cultural things, or psychiatry even, and stuff like that. And just so I'd studied quite a bit and read about Jung, and then it's been in the past couple of years that Mike Maranatha, a friend of mine, and he has a YouTube channel, and I can't remember I know the channel, but it used to be just Mike Maranatha. Changed the name of the channel, and I think it relates to the whole metanoia, if I'm saying the right word, metanoia, I think it's the way you say it. But so, and he's who, if you go to his channel, if you find his channel, he has a whole series. You can go back so many months back where he started last year, I think, whenever it was, the first video about metanoia, and then the dark night of the soul. He talks a lot about Jung. He's doing every week he asks questions, and multiple choice gives you answers to pick from, based on like some of Jung's philosophy and stuff, and but I'm also slowly digesting this as well, which is the dark night of the soul. And I understand now, because it is just a poem, but this is put into a book where they're like, at first it was kind of like hard to start when I first started reading, and now that I've gave it a chance, I'm understanding it goes into some depth, and it's something that is necessary. Just like exploring maybe the possibility of each line and stanza or whatever, and then breaking it down for you, trying to like give some kind of synopsis. So it's enjoyable, and I'm taking my time more with this one. So I'm slowly getting back into doing some reading. I was just reading The Undiscovered Self the other day. Oh, okay, cool. Well, what I'm getting at is, if I did read this in my journey, I don't remember it specifically, and you would think I would, but like I said, there was a period in time where maybe I didn't necessarily read the entire thing of somebody, or like I'd be at the library and I'd have like 3 or 4 books by the same person going through them all and like studying them at different times and maybe just, you know, but over the period of my life, I've came across different readings and different quotes and different, and of course I've watched, I've listened to a lot too on YouTube, you know, like different speeches or talks that you have of different, or readings of things. But it's always, if whether I had ever just ran across that particular book right there or not, it was interesting to me to be, my mind was coming back to wanting to. So recently, like that's a book that Mike had said really influenced him and got him into Jung, and I'd been into reading about Jung years ago. It's just been a long time, so I wanted to have an actual copy of something. And when he brought up Under the Subtle Self, I found a used copy and got it off of eBay for. And that's a fun one that I'm. At first, it was a little, but like it's starting to like. I think because I've been reading a lot of other things that were more like just like kind of metaphysical or spirit. Like I don't know, some of this stuff can be worded in ways that, you know. I'm really digging what I'm getting into though, because I'm in the section right now of. I just started. The position of the West on the question of religion, like I'm just a few pages into that part of the book right now. So that, and it's really fucking weird because like as I'm reading it, it's like I'm thinking about when he was writing this and all this information that he was absorbing and processing and putting out there at the time frame, and then skipping to now. It's like I want to say it's scary, but it's it's scary in a good way because well, not in the way that a lot of what he's talking about is actually going on and happening in big, major, more ways now. Things that nobody thought about should be an issue or you should even be concerned about then have become to the forefront exactly what some of the stuff I'm reading here is being discussed. And it's like, it is scary. But I mean in a good way because there's still something, like I feel like there's still a possibility of something that can be done and is going to be done. It's like some things are inevitable. You're going to have like a whole shift of some pretty bad shit probably for a while in history, and then it's going to be another cycling. Hopefully things will come back to a more... I do see at some point things having a transition where there's more positivity than what we see now. It's still a good ways away, you know what I mean? Like some people might akin it to the second like Christ and all that kind of stuff. But pretty much that kind of take that at some point there will be some place in history or in a... I know in the grand scheme of things there really is no time, but as far as man sees time, at some point there'll be a place where, for a while at least, there'll be some kind of harmony and people will have, they'll be more in tune and know how to be one with things. Like on a grander scale, not just each individual slowly coming to its own, but like in a large portion, I think. Oh, hey, Peyton, what's up? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. We're just chatting. I was talking about life, and I'm trying to keep track. Like I didn't know how. Like I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here, but like I'm gonna. If I'm gonna put a time limit on it, it's like 39 minutes right now. I figure if I think I need to, around about in about another 20 minutes, when I say I'm about an hour, I'm going to see how I'm feeling, how things are going, and I'll gauge on whether, you know what I mean? I was thinking, well, that's pretty good, you know? I've been just talking. things are shifting towards technological. Yeah, I mean, it's all happening that way. Something came to me the other day that okay, consider for one instant, what if what everybody talks about is, are we in a simulation? Consider that you may be part of a program, that you're an individual little speck of a program of some bigger sort, which in like, even in reality, if you think about it, it's kind of that way anyway. It's just that we're organic beings, or we think we are. It's like, how would someone obtain, like, to be able to transfer on to the next level? Let's say, well, we call it death, and you go on, but to retain that, and your awareness. And I think you see that's what some humans are trying to think they can do. I believe there's probably a way to do that with that. Like, it naturally will happen or not anyway. But I think they're trying to capture, there's a lot of talk about putting themselves into the machine, their consciousness, capturing their consciousness. And the question is, are they just making a program that imitates their consciousness, or are they actually, are they really able to put themselves into something and not being an organic body that decays? That's what they're trying to do. And they may even achieve it for a little while. I believe it's actually probably already achieved, and people don't even realize it. I also am starting to understand, I think the future and the past are starting to come right into the middle. That's what we're seeing too, a big blur. And that's where the Mandela, all these other weird things that we could talk about. I try to stay grounded in the spiritual and then know, but that's why I think for the past few years, one of the messages from like my understanding, like my relationship with the Creator has been, consistently, I keep getting reminded to stay focused right now. Like, some of the stuff I'm talking about is kind of out there maybe to some people, but there's some truth to it. And but at the same time, I could get so far into thinking about these things, especially not just thinking about them, but knowing that some of it's true. Anything could become an obsession, or to a point where it's not healthy. So for me, I gotta pull myself. I'm reeling myself back in right now. Hey, Emil. Yeah, I just ain't wearing it in the sling right now. I wear it when I take walks and stuff still, and then of course just different times during the day. But I'd already walked and had it in the sling for a little while, and so if I'm able to keep it out of the sling for a little while and not use it a whole lot, and it still not be bothering me, sometimes that's just as comfortable. Hopefully next Tuesday I still can make. I have an appointment about. I'm gonna have the orthopedist, or a person that knows about my arms and shit, be looking at it and hopefully tell me what's going on with that muscle, because it might just be that I've never gave it the proper rest, and all this was but I don't know. I'm not the doctor. I do know there is some kind of self-healing going on, but I can look at it still at times. If I stress it a certain way, I can see that the muscle is it's out of shape. There's something not right, that either overstressed it whenever I pulled it or did whatever last year. I've heard of people doing stuff like that too. Also, I heard of other stuff like cryo freezing. Yeah. Ultimately they're trying to achieve immortality. Like, they're trying to think that they're but like I said, I have been things like this lately, but I've not been dwelling on it, and so like I'm just kind of briefly bringing it up. It's some interesting stuff, uh, but like for me, I don't know how far I want to go into the conversation. Like if I was on here and some other people were on here with me on the stream, like bringing something that up could open up a whole pretty cool conversation, but it also go down like it's like I'm kind of like more but yeah, actually I'm just kind of all over the place. Like the spirit's kind of like, but there's see, now that we've been consciously talking about my arm, I'm thinking about my arm. So yeah, guys, what did I say? I'm gonna try to keep. If you can help me remember this, I think it's important for me to do this. Like, see, now that we're talking about my arm, the truth is, it is aching and hurting. So, like, probably when I'm feeling pretty good and I like don't have it in the sling, or even if I do, whether I'm using the arm or not, just moving around and stuff will affect some of how it's gonna feel too. Yeah. I appreciate that y'all guys have been here listening to me kind of. I think if you weren't here in the beginning, I was just saying part of today right now, this stream was just to come on and just really practice, like not being too like I just started off kind of just I started off real early kind of talking out loud and just not really thinking about anybody being there. And I realized that works out. Like sometimes I'll get on here and like try to think of something to do until I'm waiting until somebody shows up. And I think that's when I'm probably like in an anxious or weird place. But when I have like thoughts going on and like I had a good walk and I'm been listening to some good music and just kind of vibing, done some reading this morning, like I said, from several different things. So I'm like, that's why I titled it whatever I titled it. I don't remember exactly what I gave this as a title, but the stream, it's got the word flow in it. Like a morning, just kind of, I wanted to see where this would go, how I felt, and I was like, let me just do a solo stream straight through the app. And then, because I'm kind of gauging, like I said, after I end this, possibly in another hour or two, seeing about doing a stream and using the restream, and then seeing if anybody else wants, like maybe doing a stream that could turn into like something where it's not just me, there's somebody else on the screen, we're talking. I'm not sure but like something that can be bounced off of and might turn into more than just like if I'm going to do that, then I want to put a little like, I want to make sure that I've gotten a few things also in where I'm at in the day before I decide that I'm going to do something like that. Because my intention usually is if I'm going to do a stream and maybe someone comes on there, you at least want to do it an hour, I think. If I'm going to have someone but I think if it's going well, it's going to go over an hour. It's going to go in, like 2 hours or something where like, especially if you set it up and I've done, like if I've put everything in check where I really don't need to think about much anything else, what I'm saying? Like, okay, dishes or what, any chore or something that I could possibly do, which I can do it at any time of day, getting a few things out of the way. And then once you start, it's like, I can have more fun with it, I'm thinking too hard. Yeah, hopefully next week. I got to start trying to make sure I have the ride. I should get paid on the day I have the appointment. And the appointment's at 1 o'clock that day. So like if I have somebody that can take me around that day, we can already be gone out. My pay usually hits between 10:30 and 11, so we can already be gone out, get a couple of things done, or just do a couple of things and then head down to that town. And you know what I mean, like trying to time everything where I've done a few things before and then be over there around the time for my appointment. Then after that, anything else that I might be able to do. That's my thinking. So yeah. Yeah, I'm already in the system. But I do have to, like I tried calling, I'd looked up online like a few years ago. Okay, I had a new social security card and I have certain paperwork that would have worked to get an ID. Well, I lost my wallet last year or whenever it was. So security card was in it. And now you can't just order one and get it. Like they had it where it was pretty easy at one time. They never had done that before, but you could get it sent to you, and I did. But now you can't do that. You got to go in person. And of course, I don't have an ID or like, but they should have questions and stuff to prove. But I'm trying to, they, it's just stupid. So they give me, so like, if I want a birth certificate, they want a bunch of information to prove it's me, and I'm not even over in Tennessee. It's like fucking ridiculous, dude. This woman in Alabama is giving me the number to go call about a birth certificate, and then call North Carolina about something else, and I'm like, they're going to want to know it's me before they're giving me any damn information, and what I'm trying to do is, anyway, I don't want to get frustrated. I'm fucking tired of I attempted something and found that it's still just as fucking much asinine way of going about things. Because I told the woman on the phone I didn't know there's ways to get my fucking out. Like I looked it up online. There are ways that there's things I can take down there that aren't a birth certificate that would help, and I could get an ID if I wanted. But I don't have a social security card now, and that's the major thing you really need. If I had that, I've got letters from Medicare, letters from disability, Medicare, disability. I had my social security card and like my Medicare card and all that. I could go down there and that should suffice because it says it online. But and it even says online there's a fee you can pay to get information, like have this DMV contact another DMV, and you pay $25. That's what it said online. They get information that they need so they can verify it's you, so you can get a fucking ID. And the woman on the phone didn't have a clue what I was talking about. She's like, that wasn't nothing to do with us. And I'm like, okay. It's not that big a deal. I've been dealing with this for quite a while time in my life, for 6 years. Like Social Security knows where I'm at. I get my check on a card. But I get mail here all the time from different places. It's like, I'm not going to let it bother me right now because there was nothing I really could do about it anyway. I was trying to find out information, and I was hoping that somebody would tell me it was as simple as next week I could go to the place, pay this $25. They contact the last state I lived in, get information, and then I pay them the fee, take a picture, and get an ID made. But it doesn't seem to be that way. I don't know why it's that complicated. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I'll figure it out. Because I'm going to try to make some kind of steps forward in something. Like if I can get something done in that motion, it'll enable me to do a couple of things, like I said, that I should have done it a long time ago. So, just to the extent of making my whole, like this, my living situation would be a little bit simpler and easier, and just other things. But so, on a lighter note, I have been also enjoying some, like I'm slowly but surely digesting some. I've gotten a lot of different comic books over the past week and two. You know, like I made some orders. I haven't been spending the money now. Like I've done good this month, which knock on wood. But well, one is that I'm smoking a lot less. I'm still like I'm not. I didn't. And then yes, I fell off for 3 days, but like I didn't continue to do it and spend all my money. So like I've done pretty good on that. Like, you know what I mean? Not drinking, even though for a few days I did, but I'm saying set that to the side. I'm still sitting to the good, where a lot of times I would have been broke by now, whether I was drinking or not. Sometimes there's times I just like I'm not as conscious, and I'm just kind of like you know what I mean? Like whether it be with comic books or just sometimes it's been a month or two where like I've spent just too much money on, like, instead of buying actual, like I buy groceries, but like some months sometimes I'm just like lazy and just buy too much food that's already pre-made. Like, you know, I'm out somewhere with someone, I had the opportunity to get something from a restaurant and do it and don't really need to. But this month I've been pretty good, been pretty frugal, where I'm still like right now, if there's a few things I needed, like if I, but I almost don't want to like put anything against myself, because talking about it, I don't want to boast, but I'm realizing I've been more conscious of my spending the past couple of weeks, to where I have this goal and I don't, you know, I want to try to attempt this same method going into next week when I get paid again. Because as it's looking right now, I'll still be sitting to the good when my next thing hits, unless something comes up where I really have to, like, you know what I mean? Like I won't be completely broke, and I'm going to see where that's at, and try to just maybe put it, even if it's just a small amount, put it over somewhere, and then see what happens this coming month pay. But there's a couple other things I gotta think about this time. I'm gonna try to pay my garbage fee completely, so I don't have to worry about that. That's $70. You know, like, there's a few things that I don't necessarily have to pay all the time out, that this month I'm gonna take care of and try to, like, if I can. Anyway, it ain't all about Gray Cloud. Yeah, you know, that's the only thing that I'm finding different is, you know, when I lived in North Carolina for a long time, but now, of course, at first it's because I came off the streets, and then, like, I got hooked up with the mental health work and stuff before I even had disability in North Carolina. Like, I was living on the streets and had some kind of social care and stuff, and person that would come and get me and take me to the appointments and stuff. But then, you know, once I got my disability and everything, I got a little bit better care for a while. And then at some point, once a certain amount of insurance kicked in, the really good care I had, they couldn't take me anymore because I had insurance. Like, if you didn't have nothing, you could get all kinds of really good help. But because my Medicare type, this one particular thing kicked in finally, because they don't all kick in at once. It was weird. So then I got shifted around, and like, you know, it was like, and then I just kind of stopped going. But I haven't needed, like, I wouldn't mind having maybe a psychiatrist, maybe like just a social worker, if I could get, I don't know how, like if I could get, if there was something that was here that was readily to be part of, we're at least like every once in a while you had somebody that does come by and do like a check, or if you, like the way it worked then is if you qualified, you had, even if you were on the streets, they'd have somewhere they could meet you every week and stuff. They'd meet you at a place. But you could, it was somebody that they're making sure you're all right, or your needs taken care of. Do you need to go somewhere? What, like stuff like that. That'd be kind of nice, but I don't have a lot of, I get by, so. The trick for me is to stop thinking that I've got any control over it. So I'm just going to do what it is I can. And here the past few days, it's been pretty just kind of just, I'm pacing myself pretty well. And I think I'm just letting the way the videos come out. I'm putting a little more like, before I just make the video or whatever, like a robot, or like just get on there and just think too much about it. I've processed a little bit now, because I think several days, like last week, there was a few days where like I was trying, like I would start to record and then I'd kept having to stop, and then I'd go to do something and then come back and it would be better. So I've been giving myself more time and trying not to rush anything with any of the videos. That being said, I still want to do something before the day's over as a video for the channel. So that's another factor I'm going to try to work in. So like, I want to do that. If I don't do anything else, I want to make the video, make something kind of coherent that's not just all like a live stream where I've went from one place to another place to another place. Like kind of like a, 10, 15 minute video. This, and then, not a script or anything. I'm just gonna see how, like after when the time's right, if something hits me and I think it's time, I know how I'm gonna at least start off and just where I want to go with it. Then I'll do it. And I just say that if I can get at least that done, meaning that if I don't go live later, and I at least get a video done before the end of the day, like something that's coherent, then I'll be satisfied with that too. So, but I'm right at a little. It's right at an hour right now, and I said a little bit ago, I'm also trying to make myself be, because sometimes I enjoy it, but sometimes I have to remind myself. Like I was saying this earlier, if I think I might do it, like I came on. I didn't know how this was going to go. It's going pretty good. But, like, I'm feeling pretty good. And if this feeling continues on after I end the stream and do a few things, like, I might see about doing one, more in the midday. Because we're, like, still, for me, it's still, like, early. So, Oh, I don't know. Somebody just asked me if I'd heard about some people getting busted here for like some, like I guess, child, like PDF stuff. I don't keep up with the news. Like I haven't been on, like this morning I went for a while. Like I'm not meaning, I'm saying if there's something like that's just happened that's a headline of like, I can't consciously remember. Like I'm probably, if it happened just today or like yesterday, I might not know what, every once in a while I'll catch a headline, especially if it's something in Alabama, but I hadn't paid attention to anything like any news. And that don't surprise me because but it's everywhere. So, like when I see it, it's so prevalent and it's so often being talked about in different, like there's buses and different things, but what, so I try not to think too hard about it because that kind of stuff will also take me to a place where I don't want to think, like sometimes things will make me want to shut down and not deal with the world. And I don't want to I don't want to be like that. Like, I have to sometimes realize there's some things I can't do in the moment about certain things. And then some things, if I think about them, it'll hamper my ability to function in my day. I guess that's some part of being empathetic, like an empath, like I don't have, like I'm just was reading a message and it's like, so I don't know particularly what they're talking about. So because I haven't been online this morning really, other than I decided to go live. Is that my dog? Okay. Okay, so that has anyway. That's that's where I don't want to take anything. And that's just me personally, like as far as subject matter. Because I don't want to get uncomfortable or angry about something, or I don't want, you know what I mean? Like some things you can get pretty passionate about if you let yourself, and that would be something I could see if I didn't watch it. I could get to, like I don't want to like anyway. I'm gonna end it here, guys. This is over an hour. Yeah, I'm gonna end this one here and like kind of configure what I need to do for the rest of the day. Well, for one, like I'm about to end it. So my next thought is probably maybe another walk before it gets too hot. But from there, am I going to do another live stream? And if not, what kind of, like what is the video going to be like? And that's kind of where I'm at. But then there's also a few things that I can do that's not involving the channel, like video wise, like just reading some stuff more for myself. I want to try to get a couple of comic books knocked out today just because I'm kind of backlogged on that. So I'm trying but I don't like just rushing through them either. So like, but while I have the gumption to do it or feel like I can put the energy into reading a comic book or two, I try to do it. And then get that, once I get up all these, because I probably hold off on getting any next week right off the bat, like ordering anything until I try to catch up. I want to make sure I've kind of caught up on most of what I have, even if it's old stuff that I'm just buying off of eBay or stuff, or found in that cheap bin. I still want to look through them and process, like enjoy it a minute. Like I don't see any need to just keep having something come in if I'm going through a period where I'm not like having a lot of time and I'm not spending a lot of time with them. I don't want to have too many pile up and then it be like but I do like to have a certain amount so it's still fresh. Like I don't end up with nothing. Like I'll time it about where like I'm almost done with everything I've got currently that I could read. I'll be down to the last few things. Then that's when I'll be like probably, okay, what's the next thing I can find that would be entertaining in this manner of entertainment. Anyway, that's a big Babylon. I'll talk to you later. And I'm going to try to figure out what the rest of the day's bringing. Ditto.